So what we've done is we've just laid that one in, just doing a rebuild now. So we just laid that one in, put a little bit of silicone on the seal, and put the two check stems in. And what we need to do now is we need to look at this particular level 4. We can check this out. So what we'll do is we'll dismantle this. You don't need to keep these in. Remember where they go, because they're all identical. So you can do this. So you can keep one of them in, so you know which way it's orientated. So you can do that. Keep one in, and then you're not going to forget which way round they go. Because I've actually put them in the wrong way myself at different times, absent-mindedly, and then realised I've got to take it all apart again. So if you do that, you're going to be all right. What you can do, same with the other seals on this level, which we did earlier. We just cut these off and put these new ones on, and then put new seals on these two, these control valves, these drain valves. So obviously that's a very simple one to do. Just cut them off. We just go through this cutting off process. You can do it slightly differently if you want to. I always like to, this control valve, I always like to cut it in a couple of places with a knife. You can do that, and then often it's easier to look at all the calcium coming off. Get it like that, and just bite into it. You didn't see that, I know. But then what you can do then, often, you can grab it again, and then try and pull it off. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. So that one did, look. So, remember that the taper seal, this taper seal, which we're going to replace it with, this taper seal goes on this way. So we'll leave that there for a moment, but what we'll do is we will get this seal off. We'll take this seal off, this one, and what we'll do is we'll bin that one, and we'll get another one, and we'll just go through. These are actually quite difficult to fit, so if I make it look difficult, then you will understand when you come to do these yourself. They're quite tricky to get on. They will go on, but they don't like going on. So I do it like this, or try to. So now what's happened there is, if you look very carefully, that's twisted. You can see the twist. Now on all these seals, if you can get it like this, and then you can untwist it. I don't know whether you saw that go in, but you can see that go untwisted. So that's cool. That's really, really cool that we managed to do that. So you can then get this again, and you can poke this up through this hole here. Bit of dust coming out, but look, get there. This is a bit spring loaded. It's designed to be. And what you can do is get some silicone on there. Bit of silicone on there, look. Push it through there. Get this. Try and get it in there. It's not the easiest thing to get on. They're quite tight. They're quite tight, so I'm going to be out of camera shot in a minute, but sometimes you have to turn them upside down and go in from the other way. I'm not in camera shot. It's very tricky to show you because I can't have the camera, and I could get somebody to hold it maybe, but it's quite a tricky thing to do to get these on. So I finally got it on, and you should see that the other side like that. So we got that one on. So we'll just put that to one side for a moment. And have a rethink. So now the internal seals in here, there's some internal seals, and you can push these stems through, okay, and if they're showing reasonable resistance like this one is, it's showing pretty good resistance, very good in fact, so you don't always need to change those. Basically, it's stopping water from going down through the stem. So I'm happy with these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to a little bit of silicone in there. I'm going to leave that just for a second, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these big ones. On this particular one I'm going to change these big ones. So you got these ones there, the big ones. You get a new one. Again, same process. Put it on. Pull it on, pull it on. If you can get that under there, what you can do, twist it over. So you've got the double edges to go around like that, and it will actually straighten it out. So what you have on that is fabulous. Now you've got another end, which are these ends. So you've got these ends as well, the taper end. But there's also a seal in there, which I'd like to change. Just as a matter of interest, when I know exactly how tight these should be on these internal seals. I know exactly how tight these should be on these internal seals, and that's why I'm not changing them. This is a software I'm rebuilding for somebody, but or you know, if you buy a seal kit from me, always change the seals, because you're not really going to know, unless you've done a lot of them, whether you need to change the seals or not, and whether the lips on the quad rings work. So you can get these. So you've got that on there now, look. So we're all good with that. So now what we can do, because we replaced this seal, we can push that through there. As I said, I know that they're good, the internal seals. I can tell that they're great. And then hold this and give them a bit of a pinch up. So as you can see, the internal seals are good. This is a new one. This is a new one. This small quad ring's been replaced. This one's been replaced. So I'm going to go about doing the rest of it. You don't need to see me repeat it all. So I'm going to proceed. Okay, let's get the next one in. Now, what I've done, I put the seals, I'm going to put these seals in here. I'm going to put a few little dabs of silicone, little bits here and there. We need to get this pretty good. I put silicone inside these and in these holes there. So what we do is we'll put that one on. Make sure it's in position. So we can do that. You'll notice that it all clicks into place. It's held into place with a bit of silicone. In fact, that's the wrong way around. So that's just back to front. So that's simple remedy. But if you put silicone on, that'll hold them in. It sounds like you're putting silicone on the outside, and some of you probably watch and think, well, that's stupid. Why are you putting silicone on the outside? We need silicone on this level anyway. So you can do both. You can do it this way, and if you see, you can knock it around and it's holding them in. So the silicone is going in. So everything's fairly critical at this stage. So make sure you've got the silicone in there and it's all working good. So got silicone in these apertures, so where the pistons go in, so we can try and get the pistons in there. I'll just show you the level. That's the level. We've done this level now, so we've done all that, put silicone on, a little bit of silicone on all these. Make sure they move in and out freely like this, and they do. Make sure this is working and the spring's still working. So now what we need to do now is we need to determine how it all orientates. So obviously this one goes in this aperture here, so we can get the pistons up. Probably the easiest way to start with. Lay that over like that. Don't know if you can see. Bring that one back, push it into that gap. So if you look at the edge, there's no high bits, so it looks like the seal's sat perfect. You can push that down midway, push these down midway, make sure they work inside the aperture. They should be reasonable. Make sure they work. They rely on water pressure, so you can hear those valves operating like this. if you can hear that. That's the pump, it's pumping. Okay, so we've got that one on now then. So those two levels are connected. They seem to work okay. So we'll leave that like that for a moment. Okay, so we'll get this level now, and what we'll do with this level is we'll just get a little bit of silicone, not too much, and what we'll do is we'll just put a little line on this tapered end here. Just put a little bit, not too much. This is quite a tricky level because we need to now connect all this together, so we'll put some on these as well. A little bit on these ones. And what we must not forget is must not forget this toggle. This toggle is fairly important. This curve, it goes on here like this. So there you go, so that's where that fits. So when all this goes together, that must be in position, which fits on this piece here. So we get a little bit more silicone. We just put a little tiny bit around these seals like this, just a sort of a coating. You don't need a lot. A little bit of a coating there. And then what we can do is we can try and navigate. We can take that off there if we want to. We'll put it on this one, depending on which way. We put those down a little bit. Make sure they're all working. And then we've got them. Then we have to try and get this onto this. So, not easy, but what is in life? So you can try at an angle, you can try it whichever way you like. That goes down through there. Make sure this one goes through the same type of hole the other side lines up. There's something I've forgotten. Yeah, I have forgotten something, which is pretty cool because if I make a mistake, then when you make one, you won't feel so bad about yourself. So I'm going to put that there because I know exactly what I've done. This is me being impatient, you see. So we have two, we have another seal. So what we'll do is it's great that I made a mistake. And then you can say, well, you know, people doing this all the time, making a mistake, I won't feel so bad when I make one. So we'll just put that in. Make sure we get that the right way round. So we'll, same old trick. Bit of silicone to hold it in position. And it does, mostly. Okay. Okay, well, let's get that in there a bit better. A bit more silicone on that one. What you don't want to happen is something to jump out and then it's not acting as a seal, it's basically not working, you know, so you need to be very, very careful and make sure it all aligns, you know. So try not to touch them, because as the silicone does hold it in, it also can suck it out, so you can also get it wrong and it comes out. So there's your end for your other thing. Now you poke those two, get one in, and you'll find that you can get the other one in. So put one in, get it in the hole, get it in the hole. As I said, it's not easy. So they're both in, your rocker's in. Now, make sure these work. Make sure these work. So then have a look at the edge. Make sure the edge is working. So you make sure that's working. You can get a pair of pliers. Let me just get some. Find them. You can't find them. Okay, well, similar thing. Get that. Make sure that works. Make sure all these work. Up and down. There you go. So have another look at it. All the way around. There's nothing high, no high spot. You can look through the little window. I think you can there. Yep. This little window there, and you can feel where the rocker. You can move the rocker and make sure that that rocker is in their position properly. So you can turn that over, and so you've basically done those three levels. Those three levels are now connected together. So we leave it like that for a minute, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, what we'll do now is we're going to, you can see these two holes, this one and this one. Those two fit over those two check stems. Now, it could be that your softener, when you took it apart, it didn't have these. It had two little balls, two little blue or white balls. They basically do the same job, and you need them. There's some people lose them. They fall in this hole here, or they drop out and they don't even know that they had them when they took the softener apart. You need the two balls so you can put those in position and stick them with a little bit of silicone, but you must have them. So it's critical, absolutely critical. You cannot not have them on there. They're needed. So what we do, we try and hold this together tight, and then what we do is we're going to put this on there best we can. There it is, and now there's little lugs on there. So that is perfect. We want to be at this stage, perfect stage. We want to be right there at this perfect stage now. So we've checked everything. We've done everything methodically. Make sure it all works. Make sure all the levels are flat. You can look round it. If you need to work on a table or something a bit higher, or create a jig or something for it, then that's the way. But this is how I do it. But some people might find that awkward. And it is a bit awkward, to be truthful. But there it is. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to this. This has got the most complicated seal, level seal in it. So we need to get that working properly. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. So we've got this level now then, so we put the seal in. Same again, bit of sealant round, make sure these apertures are clear. Everything's done, make sure this tube is sticking up the right way and not you haven't got it upside down. So we can then try and put this top level on. So we'll do that now and see how we get on. Look for your notches, correspond it with those. So we just gently Gently put it on. Now, if you look at it all from the side, everything should be fitting perfectly. So now, without further ado, we can have a go at fitting these back. So we put them in. Occasionally I put a bit of silicone on the end of these, but these all came out very easily, so I'm just gonna put them in. Now, what's a good tactic is where you stored all your bits and bobs, have a quick look in there and see if there's anything that you've forgotten to fit. Now, looking at the bits in there in this box or bucket, I can't see anything. So we'll carry on. We'll see how we get on. So we can have a go at these. So we tighten these up, pinch these up. Never use power tools. Anybody that tells you that you can use power tools on these, or somebody said, oh, you use power tools, I'm afraid they're wrong. Do not ever use power tools on these softeners. Now, I always think to pinch the first two up to secure the head on. And then do the good engineering thing and tighten up opposites. That's what I do. Tighten up opposites, and you'll find you'll be in a lot better way. And there it is, you're getting there. So if you've managed to get to this stage, you're probably doing pretty well for yourself. It's not everybody's cup of tea to do these. I guess it helps if you have a practical sort of nature about you, perhaps. If they go tight, don't force them, because you'll strip the thread out of the bottom of the softener and you'll be in big trouble then. So just make sure they're tightened equally. Ah dear, there we go. Just go round a couple of times. And looking at that, don't think that's a bad job done. We can pop this one in, this little seal here. Again, clean it. Make sure it's clean. Bit of silicone. Put it in. Make sure it's in, slotted in properly. Get this pin, put the pin in, a little tiny bit of silicone, not a great deal, you don't need to do too much with that. Make sure you're happy with it. That's the plan. Make sure you're all happy with it. Right. Coming to the end a little bit now, so we need to find a few small parts here, and we've got it all in a bucket. Probably not perfect way to do it, but it just, when I was dismantling it, it just seems slightly easier just to have it all sort of thrown in a bucket. That does sound a bit slapdash, but I don't know what else to tell you. So we're going to need to look at all these bits. Now, even I have to try and remember sometimes which way round it goes, and I sometimes can't remember. So I think that goes in like that. I think. Let me just check. So I'm going to put that in like that. I don't know whether you saw that. Let me just do it a bit more. So we got the long shanked one with the point on it. I think it goes on this side, on the inlet side. I think it goes down like that, and the spring is on the back. You can hold that back in and put that over the, let's do that again, that looked a bit awkward, didn't it? So we do that. So I think that goes that way, so that hooks into there. I don't know whether you can see it, but that hooks into there, I believe. Right, okay. I believe he should know, he's been doing it long enough. But do you know what? I'm getting on a bit now, and I'm a bit more forgetful than I used to be. So we can proceed, but this one, short one, spring that side. We'll try that. Let's just try that one. Let's put that one in. See if put that one in like this. Can you see? It's a bit awkward, my fingers though, but anyway, that way. Now we need to be able to do that, and they're both clicking. So that they're both clicking. So it goes one way. So that I think is correct. Now this is where it gets more tricky. This one, I don't know whether you can see this little upstand on that wire there. That one goes in there like this, like that. That fits over there. Now there's that little tiny upstand. That tiny upstand fits in that tiny little slot there. So it's not ideal, is it? So I think you put that one in like that, drop it down. Let me just check that. And that's spring loaded like that. So you've only got to try and get this on. So you can try and get that on like that. That all moves that way. If you look, difficult to see, but those paws, if you can understand, and they push that way. So that looks right. That looks right. This one is spring loaded. Look, That all looks right. So we'll keep going until we finish this, and let's just get one of these. Right, so we got a little balance piston O-ring. I think what we'll do is we'll put a little bit in there, and we'll put that in there like that. All these seals, by the way, that I'm fitting are in our kit, identical, so we can fit that like that. So now what we have is we've got this. Let's just get some of these bits out. It's getting a bit dark here, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get this ready so that the other bits can go in there properly. So we can put the spring in there, we can put the piston, balance piston in there, and then what we can do then, because we need to make sure that we got this correct, and you'll see that that has got to go in this here. So we can put that in there like that. Now this is where it gets a bit more tricky, because I've got to get the right socket, which I think is this one. Yeah, it is this one. So what I'll do, no, I've forgotten something. So we got this, which is the actuator, so we need to get so as I was saying, you need to get that on there, but we need to put a little seal on. So let me just get the little seal I'm talking about. That's this little one. Put it on there, take this off again, slide that inside there, then we can rest that back on top of there like this. Now we need to push that down. It's now totally engaged. So what I always do is I always put one in there, hold that down, and one this side, hold that down, and obviously you've got all the other ones to put in. I'd like to also just set the balance piston, so you can turn this at the moment. So what you can do is push it, make sure that it engages. You can hear that noise. So that's engaged. You should find that the balance piston will go down between the wall of the control disc and the side, so you should be fine with that like that. So apart from these screws to just put in, which are in my bucket of bits, to be quite honest with you, when I think about the task for some people, it's not really for people, I guess, that have got no skills, you know, in working with tools and things. You do need to be a little bit practical, and if you can do that, then if you're a bit practical and you think you can do this stuff, then so I always go the opposite now, so we just do these ones. Don't overforce, don't force things. I believe this is quite a good way of doing it, because you need a system. And you know what, the other thing, if it doesn't work first time and you don't find that it's actually working, don't think you haven't made a mistake, because I've made a few today just by forgetting to put a few things on and one thing and another. So don't force all this. It's a case of trying to judge how tight each one is, so that you get the plate bolted down flat. And I believe that anybody can do it, put their mind to it. But if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to take it apart again. You won't break anything. Take it apart and do it again. Check everything. So I'm going to have a tidy up later on. I'm going to do it tomorrow, I think. But looking at what we've done, or look in this box of bits, and it's just all the rubbish stuff that I've taken off, the seals I've taken off. You should find that will work. It feels right, it looks right. I've done everything I could, tried to make a good job of it all. I don't really know what else really I can say, but I believe we're in business with this one. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any problems, you can email me, and I will always try and help you. Thank you very much.